a musician,
long-distance kayaker,
a businessman,
she looks after animals,
artist,
author.
We interview remarkable people.
They're talented in so many different areas.
You're listening to The Dialogue.
89.7 FM East Side Radio.
You're listening to 89.7 FM Eastside Radio. This is Natasha and The Dialogue Show, where I interview remarkable people. On the show today, I have Sam Wagner, founder and owner of Sambag, which is an accessories company. Sam, welcome to the studio. How are you?
Good, thank you, Natasha. How are you?
I'm good. So you said this is the first time you've ever done radio?
Yes, it is.
But I've seen you do so many interviews in print. It's just the list goes on and on forever.
Yeah, I've done many print and TV, but just never radio. So it's
I'm
quite
very
daunting, this
excited.
big microphone in my face.
I love the fact that I'm first. I love being first. You started your business in 1996.
That's right.
It's quite a long time ago.
Well, it's 21 years this year, so
That's
yes,
quite remarkable,
yeah.
given that so many fashion brands and accessory brands fail.
Yeah.
And fail sort of impressively. You've managed to keep yours going. How have you managed to do that?
Just a lot of hard work, but we've always kept ourselves quite small. It's a family business. I'm the owner. I've just been strategic in making sure that it's quite a niche brand versus going to the mass. Just being a business-minded person as well as a creator. So
you started the brand off as a fabric brand. You were fascinated by sort of fabric bags and now you do shoes and a whole lot of wonderful accessories. What was it about the fabric as opposed to leather that kind of interested you?
Well, it's when I back in sort of God knows what year it was, 95 or 94, I can't remember, but Kate Spade had just launched, and I was just fascinated with her brand, and she'd really launched with fabric bags. So I think we'd only really seen the Oritons and the leather bags of the world, and I just really was quite blown with her fabric and her branding, and her whole success of her marketing was really extraordinary. So
she's another one that's managed to stay the test of time. Her brand has grown and grown and grown. Mm. So I'm going to take us back a little bit to when you were obviously younger, Sydney girl.
Yes.
So you must have lots of friends here. I'm always fascinated by people who grew up here and seem to know everybody.
Yeah. Well, I went to school in the eastern suburbs, and so I've got a lot of great school friends as well as lots of friends, and I'm a mother of two girls that went to school in the eastern suburbs, so I've got lots of mother friends.
But you, when you were growing up, you travelled quite a lot
yes.
with your family, and therefore lived in different areas. I find it quite interesting. I asked you about going to school and going to these different schools, and you sort of didn't bat an eyelash and just sort of went, well, it wasn't that hard. There has to be there has to be a personality thing that makes those things not that hard, because a lot of other people find that very difficult.
We went to great international schools. My parents, because they were expats, and we travelled on one of four. And I don't know, we just all got in and adapted. I think being one of four children and just, on your way, deal with it all,
You had quite a traditional upbringing. So,
yes.
Your parents were together, and obviously, that was quite natural for you. You left school though when you were in year 10.
Yes.
So, which is unusual. I mean, it's the kind of thing often that, you would finish school, but you said just desperate to get out of there.
Yes, I was, Mum and Dad couldn't believe it. They were devastated when I told them I wanted to leave. And I think if anyone, did that now, everyone would be blown away and shocked. But in those days, it sort of was a little bit more common than now. But no, I just refused to finish. I wanted to be on with my life. I just was so headstrong about just moving into the world of fashion, and that's what I wanted to do. So
did you move out of home as well, or did you stay at home?
No, I actually did move out of home as well.
So
to my parents' detriment, I was just on my road to being, on my own.
You just want to be a grown-up.
Yeah.
Now, your school helped you get a job in retail.
Yes.
So you actually worked, I think, for George Goss and Harry Who?
Yes, I worked with them for a while. They got me it was a very junior position at the time. But
after year 10, I don't think you deserve much more than that.
But I have to say, I did learn a lot. So, they were great. They were great, teachers and at the time. And yeah, I worked, I've done everything.
When you left there and you carried on, you actually got you traveled. You went to the UK, you went to America, New York, and did you follow a man to New York? Was there a love interest in that kind of got you over there?
No, my partner at the time was just over there for a while working, he was in banking. So I he said come over, and I spent a couple of weeks over there, enjoying just shopping every day while he worked. And that's when I was working in marketing in Sydney at the time for a cosmetic company, and I really decided that I wanted to go back into fashion, and that's sort of really was my starting point when I was back in New York.
We can thank Kate Spade.
Yeah, and
you borrowed a bit of money from him. You borrowed like $20,000, and you got this first range together. Yeah. Did you work on that range all on your own, or did you have some help?
No, I worked on it on my own, and so it was just 4 styles, 4 bags, and just pretty much that was it. And then
You said the first range was bloody hard, and it was a bit of a flop.
Yes, it was. It was. It took a while to sell it, I have to say. There was a lot of discounts involved and a lot of pushing and
Did
throwing.
you give a lot to your friends?
Yes, a lot of party plans.
Okay. But interesting. It was a significant 20 years ago, and it didn't stop you. It didn't deter you. I mean, you didn't go, oh, this is too hard. This was too difficult. I mean, you went out and you did it again. So what was the second range like?
A lot better. I actually, at that stage, had learnt that I have to go over to China and source a supplier. So I actually went to Hong Kong at that time and sourced a really good supplier. So once I actually started to deal with a better supplier, it all seemed to come together a little bit better.
How would you find a supplier though? I mean, let's be honest, there wasn't even internet in those days. How did you find, it's so much easier today. Today you just get online and you can find everything that you need. There was nothing like that 20 years ago when you were starting. I mean, how did you find a supplier? How did you get to Hong Kong to go and do all of those things?
Funnily enough, my partner at the time, who became his father actually had a contact, and that was my first agent. And so that was really just how I got to him. I worked with him and he helped me with bags at that time.
You said accessories was something that you could do because you didn't have any formal fashion training. Did you ever regret not having gone down the pure fashion route?
Look, I did think about applying. I did do a course in London, the London College of Fashion, just a 6-month course, very small, not a big course. But I think I'm more a business-minded sort of fashion marketer versus a designer. So I think I realised that was probably not. I'm probably better off just working on the business side, as well as having design as well. But the business side probably interested me more.
You're listening to 89.7 FM Eastside Radio. This is Natasha and The Dialogue Show, where I interview remarkable people. On the show today, I have Sam Wagner, founder and owner of Sambag, the accessories company that we all know and love. You talk about knowing what you're good and what you're bad at. That was something that you actually sort of believe, that once you sort of discover what you're not that good at, that kind of frees you up in a way to get people who do know what they're doing. Obviously having a good business acumen, and your business acumen is a lot about cash flow and money, money coming in and money coming out. What are the basics for you around that? I mean, what are your basic principles around cash flow and that business side?
Well, it's knowing your business and ensuring margin. I mean, a margin is, it's going to help. It's making sure you have a good margin. But just really knowing your business and knowing what's going in and what's going out and managing that as well. Like, I mean, we all want everything, but you can't, it's like giving a child some money. You need to know how you're going to manage it. That's all.
The brand has grown to, you've got quite a few stores at the moment. How many stores have you got?
No, we actually don't now. We've reduced our stores. So we only have five standalone stores. We have a online store. And then
5 is a few.
Yeah, I know. Well, we had 12 about 3 years ago, but we've closed a few due to the economic climate. But we now have a great business with our 5 stores and online, which is amazing, doing amazingly well at the moment. So,
would you ever land up, do you think, becoming a pure online business? Is that something that you would consider?
Look, I have to say all reports are saying that by 2020, 90% of retail will be online.
Okay.
So I don't know. I mean, look, the way it's going, I mean, everyone is just pushing online. So it's just, I think you've got to be in that space massively and be aware. Like it's a good space to be in. Whether it will be the be-all, I don't know.
How do you handle the logistics of stores and online and, sort of and returns and that type of thing? Because that's difficult in a retail environment. People get the shoe size wrong or, does that form quite a big problem for you?
Yes, it does. I mean, look, generally our customers know their shoe size, so I think that's sort of but obviously new people wouldn't. Yes, it is. But with return, you have to return. It's a free return rate, and it is a logistic nightmare. It is. But you know what? There's so much. It works out in the end, so it's actually a better way of selling online.
When you then subsequently married the boyfriend that loaned you the money, and have had 2 daughters, who are now sort of late teenagers, would you have let them leave school in year 10?
No way. No way. No way.
Really?
I have one in year 10 now, and I just look at her and I think, oh my God, there's just no way. I actually cannot believe my parents did let me leave, but there is just absolutely no way.
But they must have seen something in you, or just believed the determination. They couldn't have held you back.
I think I think they were. I think one day my father came up to me and he said, "You know what? You proved us wrong." He said, "I thought you were going to be. I just didn't know what was going to happen, but you've proved us all wrong." So
was that a nice moment?
Yeah, it was very nice. It was really special because he doesn't, not that he's a good father, but he doesn't really say a lot of compliments. Occasionally he'll say something, so it was very special.
Now the 2 girls that you've obviously been a single mother for, I think it's quite a while, over 10 years.
Yes.
And you've run a business that is like children. You've been looking after, you've got staff, you've got stores, you've got all the rest of it. And 2 girls, and I mean 2 girls are quite needy and demanding. How have you managed to balance all of that?
Oh God, sometimes head in the sand. No, it's very challenging, I have to say. Teenage girls are probably much harder than they were as toddlers, just their emotional dealings, day to day. But they're at boarding school now, so that does help me. But it's definitely a challenge. Being a single mother and running a business, you come home, you're stressed, you've got to deal with other stresses. So it's just really trying to compartmentalize all of that and work out how to deal with it the best way you can.
When you have teenage girls, and this is a bizarre question to ask probably, but you're also dealing with, that adolescent side with boyfriends, and, the obviously that's also changed since you were younger. You probably left home to have to go out and find some freedom. How do you tackle the whole sort of girl and boy element with girls, and as a modern mother who works and is quite out there, do you have quite modern sort of values?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I've only had one daughter so far that's had a partner, and Ali, the oldest one, and he was a beautiful boy, and he stayed with us, and we were very quite, I mean, we ensured that there was, but no, I think just being modern and ensuring that there's respect, I think that's what I want from my daughter's partners, is respect of them,
Absolutely.
So,
you're listening to 89.7 FM Eastside Radio. This is Natasha and The Dialogue Show, where I interview remarkable people. On the show today, I have Sam Wagner, founder and owner of Sambag. When we talk about, you mentioned earlier that, about being a working mother and missing things that are important, there's a certain amount of guilt. I don't think there's a woman who's ever come into my studio who's ever been a business person and successful who hasn't said that they feel a certain amount of guilt. But how do you deal with that, those feelings of guilt? And I mean, what compensates for that?
I think you just move on. No, look, it's, over my time there's been, but I do try to give as much as I can, but there's always those moments when you just, you cry and you think, God, I feel so bad. But I think both my girls now respect me, and they know they've got a great role model. So, and they have said it to me that they're really proud of me, and I think that to now, I know it wasn't easy when they were younger because they didn't really understand, but now as they're getting older, it's really lovely that they do understand what I've done for them over the years.
Do you think either one of them will follow you into the business?
Do you know what? I don't know. Ali, my oldest, is just finishing school this year, so she wants to travel and then go to uni. And my youngest, I don't really know what she wants to do. So, you know what? It's up to them, really. It's just, I'd love them to. I really would. I think it'd be great. But I'm not going to force them into something that they don't want to do.
Have you got a bucket list? A personal one?
Yes. Go and live on a Greek island. Jolly Valentine. No, I'd love to do something fabulous like that one day in my life. So we'll see.
Kind of give it up. You just give it all up and go and live overseas, or just sort of carry on doing what you're doing in the background and go overseas.
Oh, that would be great as well. I love doing what I do. So I think, in hindsight, I think I probably would be bored doing that as well. So I don't know. Look, I say I'd love to go and do that, but I think I'd get bored.
Talking about being bored, you don't really allow yourself too much time to get bored, because the other thing that you're completely and utterly passionate about is redoing homes.
Yes.
This is something else, that you love doing and have had quite a bit of sort of media coverage around, doing your house and selling your house and all the rest of it. So talk to me a little bit about that passion and that love.
I really love working in interiors and designing homes, and so I've only done three. So it seems a lot more than I actually have done, but they were quite big ones. But no, I love it. I just love it. I love actually the whole just theatre and driving and just designing a new concept and a new way of living. And so I've done sort of Hamptons to Belgium to homey, English. So I've done a few different styles. So I love it. To me, it's like another creative outlet. Do
you think you love homes more than you love fashion? If I had to give you a choice and you're only allowed to choose one.
I do. I love a home. So I love a home.
Is that what it is?
Yeah,
is it the aspect of a home?
Yeah, and beautifully, aesthetically being beautiful and, designed and, perfect. I love all that.
Are you working on one at the moment?
No, I'm not. I'm looking. I'm looking for a new one.
You're looking for a new one? Do you have an idea about do you have an idea before you buy them what you'd like it to be in terms of its design elements? Or do you find it and then go, this look would suit this house?
I think it's more about like what I find and then just go, you know what, now I can see what I could do with this. Yeah, it's more about finding the property and falling in love with it and then seeing what I can do. So yeah, I don't really know what I will do. It could be anything.
I find it really fascinating that you are so sort of left and right brained at the same time. It's an unusual mix. Mm-hmm. Most people do tend to lean one way or another, but you obviously get an enormous amount of pleasure out of the creative process, even though you might recognize that you're not the best designer in the world, but you know that you're confident in terms of what you can and can't do. So how have you staffed your business to kind of overcome some of your weaknesses? And I'm not saying that design is a weakness of yours, but obviously, you were saying you recognize the weaknesses in yourself and therefore you overcome them with staff.
Look, I try to surround myself with amazing staff, and I have got a great team at the moment. So I'm just a designer. I've had designers help me with apparel and shoes and bags, and I've had amazing financial controllers, and I've had amazing general managers. So, and great retail staff. So it's just surrounding yourself with really good team, and then that can from that you just you can push. Like they do their job, and you can just sort of run it.
Do you ever feel lonely?
No, never. Always busy. I've got a great social life, and if I'm not in Sydney, I'm down in Melbourne with my children, my daughters, so I'm always busy, just on the go or travelling for work.
And so you feel confident making decisions as well. I mean, because often loneliness as a business person is one of the biggest problems. Is that and so it's interesting that that's something that you don't experience.
Look, I think when you talk about it in that respect, lonely in a business, it is hard making those choices, those decisions all the time on your own. And sometimes you just wish, but I don't know if I'd have a partner. I'd be probably nervous having a partner as well. So I don't know where I would have been if I had a partner over the last 20 years. It could have been amazing, it could have not, but yes, no, I do get lonely in that respect, making decisions all the time on my own, but sometimes I feel quite empowered, and I know my gut tells me what's right and what's wrong. So
You're listening to 89.7 FM Eastside Radio. This is Natasha and The Dialogue Show, where I interview remarkable people. On the show today, I have Sam Wagner, founder and owner of Sambag. Do you have a mentor or sort of a brand or particular people that you follow that you kind of really love and that inspire you?
Look, I love a lot of things. I mean, a lot of brands all around the world. I mean, just with Instagram and...
What's your favourite? Come on, share.
What
are you loving at the moment?
I have to say I'm loving Gucci at the moment.
Okay.
It's very out there and it's not quite my brand, but I really love what they're doing. I think it's really pretty and beautiful and different. And, I really like it. And I'm loving what they're doing at the moment, so...
The type of people that buy your brand, you're not a high end, you're not a very high end like a Gucci, and you're not a street sort of high street kind of brand either. You're sort of in the middle. So who is your market? Who are the people that shop at you?
They're me.
They are you and I.
Yeah, I mean they're really everyone. I mean we have sometimes we have 3 generations of customers come in: a mother, a daughter, and a granddaughter. So from 14 up to 70. So we do find that it is all ages. Our shoes, are suited, and a lot of people put our shoes back with designer labels because they find them easy and affordable, and they buy a few pairs a season. So.
You've got a range coming out.
Yes.
You've got a new range coming out. What's exciting about what's coming out?
Well, I've collaborated with an amazing designer. Actually, she's out of LA and she worked for Prada. God, she worked for everyone in Milan, and she's actually American, but she's been fabulous. So a lot of her styles come through, and so we've done a lot of fashion with her, and then obviously with that we've got our beautiful basics, and so I'm really excited. So she's with her bags and shoes, she's done a lot. So you'll see some interesting pieces.
Do you think the ballet flat will ever die?
Never. Never. I remember someone saying to me, I can't believe you're still selling ballet flats. And I'm like, it will never. It's a classic. It's like...
It has become a classic, hasn't it?
Yeah.
It is just, if you don't have a pair in your wardrobe, then somehow you've just failed with a capsule, haven't you?
It's our biggest seller every season.
Your fashion sense and what you like to wear. I mean, I'm always fascinated by people who are in the fashion industry. What do you love to wear? What are your go-to pieces? Your 80%?
I have to say, what I'm wearing, jeans, pants.
Yeah, but you look gorgeous today, and you've got
you.
Sort of like it's almost like a
silk.
It's a silk. It's gorgeous, and it's sort of shimmery grey and like a beautiful blue, and they're just gorgeous. I don't know what's on your feet. Lift up your feet.
Ballet
and
shoes.
Ballet flats.
Always, every day.
The blue. Yeah, you look beautiful today.
Thank you. So no, this is actually a new season. This is just these beautiful silk tracksuit pants, and I love just silk t-shirts and. Ballet shoes, and in winter, just beautiful cashmere jumpers with jeans and, ballet shoes.
So comfortable clothes.
Yeah.
Things that are... Because I find very interesting the fashion that comes out that's quite rigid. I find that very hard to wear, and I'm always curious about who wears all the rigid fashion.
Yeah.
Those very strong lines and fabrics that are not soft.
Yeah. I mean, look, there's definitely customers out there that wear it. It looks fabulous. But no, we ours is very classic. I mean, you come in and you get some great staples and with some beautiful leather pieces coming in this winter as well. But it's very classic. So, and it's just comfortable. I just want comfort. I love comfort. I'm a comfort. I love a comfortable but stylish. So,
are you girls stylish?
In their teenage sense.
do they like your
Just
items
starting
or not?
to. My eldest daughter actually occasionally works for us, so she's like, oh mum, it's pretty cool. I didn't realise how cool you were. And I'm like, oh, okay, thanks for that. It's taken you about 20 years. But no, she's into it now. So.
Okay, so because I mean the classic pieces fit across a whole lot of range age groups, don't they?
Yeah. Yeah, so she's getting into it. And actually, it's funny enough, her friends are too, so it's great. It's great. It's just taken me a while. I think, I wasn't like, cool because I'm the mum, I think.
Now you're a bit more cool.
Yeah.
What do you find challenging within the business and also on a personal level? I mean, what do you struggle with on a day-to-day basis?
Look, running staff is really challenging, and it's maintaining that sort of giving them that sort of get up and go every day, and just doing their job as well as they can, and and it's just challenging. It takes a lot out of you sometimes. So,
and on a personal level, what do you find difficult on a personal level?
Just the challenge of day-to-day life. Like it's just reinventing the wheel all the time. Trying to keep the business going, keep the reinventing, keep the excitement, keep the for you personally as well as the customers.
How do you what do you do for downtime?
Read.
You like to read? What do you like to read?
And I sort of like real biographies or sort of stories. And I love just seeing my friends, just hanging out, dinners. Yeah.
So just that,
movies.
Today's Oscar day, and it's going to be really interesting to see who takes those Oscars.
Oh, I know. I'm dying.
I can't wait to see you, because there's some amazing movies out at the moment, which are...
It's always a good time of year to watch a movie.
Absolutely, really inspiring. So, it was very exciting. We were at Glass, and there was Seal, and I saw him in real life, and I was desperately trying to get a photograph of him.
He's so handsome.
He is he just stood out in the room. I was just like, oh my goodness. And Sam Neill, who's very quirky.
Yes.
Just a very quirky man, but also just looked absolutely amazing and really interesting. So where to from here? I mean, you've got the online business, you've got a whole lot of plans, you're looking for a new house. If I were to say, in the next 12 to 24 months, if you had some goals that you needed to hit, what would they be?
We're actually, my focus for 2017 is really about online. So I'm focusing on, I'm just building more of an international market. We're slowly growing it. It's at 15% at the moment, but we want to grow it a lot more. I mean, grow domestic, but also international. So we're working with companies overseas to help us push that out there. And then, I don't know, just personal goal would be, finding the right house and doing it up.
And no love? Love doesn't come into it?
Maybe, I don't know, not at the moment.
I love that. I respect you for that.
Yeah.
Because normally that's at the top of everybody's list, and you're like, no, my business, and I'm going to find a nice house.
Yeah. Well, and I've got a daughter finishing her VCE, so she's in Melbourne. But so I've got that challenge.
Which is quite hard.
Yeah.
Well, we've come to the end of the interview. It's always the fastest 30 minutes of your life. And I just want to say thank you so much for sharing and being so honest with us about this journey that you've had. And I wish you really well in that growth. It'd be really interesting when you get to a 50% online presence and you're selling to America, and we're watching you kind of, expanding around the world.
So.
Absolutely. You're listening to 89.7 FM Eastside Radio. This is Natasha and The Dialogue Show. I've been interviewing Sam Wagner, founder and owner of Sambag. We will be back next week with another incredible interview.